you, what up? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. I'm Maryam, and in today's video, I'm reviewing a foundation. It's been a minute since I've reviewed a foundation, but this one apparently is a hot one that a lot of people have been searching for. And so I decided it is time for me to finally review it here on the channel, and of course do a wear test on my very oily, acne-prone skin just to see how it wears, how it performs. I am talking about the LANCOME Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow Foundation. It is here, it is in my hands, it is on my face right now, but make sure you watch this video in its entirety for that final wear test and for a developing story on this foundation, because although it looks really good, or somewhat good, on my skin right now, it wasn't without helpers. That's all I'll say for now. I'm just going to remind you to remember to subscribe if you aren't already, hit that notification bell, and now let's get into this video. LANCOME Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow Foundation Review, Wear Test, Application. Let's do this. All right, we've got this cute little PR package from LANCOME, and here is the new Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow Foundation. So this is a $47 foundation, supposed to be medium coverage. I guess LANCOME is also jumping on the bandwagon of lighter coverage, not so heavy, not so makeup-y. So this is supposed to be a light, glowy, kind of like a skin tint foundation hybrid type of product. It's also formulated with hyaluronic acid, which is great for all skin types, including oily AF like mine. But let me actually go ahead and give you some more details about this. This indeed does have 30 shades, natural finish, liquid formula, medium coverage, hyaluronic acid, hydrating, best for oily, combo, and normal skin. So I guess they're not recommending it for dry skin. That's new. Every time I see the word glow, I'm always assuming it's meant for dry skin, but apparently not in this case, according to Sephora. So let's see ingredients. We've got hyaluronic acid, hydrates and visibly plumps the skin. We've got mandelic acid, which smooths and refines the skin. And in terms of other ingredients, this is mainly water-based and dimethicone-based. Dimethicone is a silicone that actually helps to smooth your pores, something that my skin likes. So all of this sounds good. Let's see. For light foundation coverage, apply with fingers, a damp sponge, or foundation brush. For medium coverage and maximum results, apply with a flat foundation brush using a stippling motion. Got you. Also, this has broad spectrum SPF 27. Why didn't they mention this? Interesting. This is just something that I read on the bottle, but doesn't actually mention on the website. But wait a minute. I'm scared. What kind of sunscreen is it? Will it work for my acne-prone skin type? So it's annoying about all these like little lift-off tabs that you have to remove in order to read the information is that they actually don't give you any information. If you've got questions or comments, call 1-800-LANCOME is what it says. And then it basically gives me their 10 Hudson Yards address, which I already know. Oh yes, here we go. Active ingredient, ensulazone, 3.6%. That is the sunscreen. Okay, I will run with it. So first it says that you need to shake it up. So here we've got the shade 320C, C standing for cool. Whoops, that's embarrassing. Someone's clearly not paying attention. Hi LANCOME, I thought we knew each other better than that. So basically the 320C is a light medium with cool pink undertones. That is clearly not your girl, and this is what that shade looks like on me. Though I gotta say, it doesn't look too pinky. The next shade that I have is 330N. Sad to see that there's no warm in here, but I work with the N, which is neutral. But it's a medium with a neutral peach undertone, which is also not quite me. I don't know, neither one of these shades is really screaming my skin tone, so I probably need something in the warm family. And the reason why I'm even mentioning this little blunder is because I am someone who has a great relationship with LANCOME. I actually started this YouTube channel because I was working with LANCOME to create content for Sephora and for their 5-pan eyeshadow palettes. So our relationship goes way back, way beyond shades and undertones. So it's kind of sad to see that they messed up my shade. Although I will say it was always a little problematic for me to find the right match in any Teint Idole foundations. I always had to mix like 2 different warm shades. So I guess here we are again, but I don't have any warms to work with, but I will get my hands on them if in fact I actually like this foundation. All right, so I'm gonna shake it up. I'm gonna look at these shades one more time. Looks like this one is oxidizing quite pink, and this one's oxidizing a little bit darker. So I think I am gonna go for the neutral shade. But also I must mention, this is extremely fragrant. Like, I just did 2 swatches and the aroma has filled the room. It is very, very fragrant. It's a strong scent. Not a scent that I am immediately turned off by, but it's fragrant and it's strong nonetheless. Alrighty, so to test this out, I am gonna do it in 2 different ways. I'm gonna slap my DANESSA MYRICKS Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder in the shade Universal, which is clear, on this side of the face and also on my forehead because, as you may notice, I have quite a bit of breakouts on my forehead. This is unusual for me. I don't typically break out on my forehead, but it is a bit bumpy at the moment, so it could use just a little bit of smoothing. So I'm gonna use this to smooth it down. On this side of my face, I'm just gonna apply the foundation with nothing else underneath. We're gonna test it in 2 different ways, you know? So first I'm smoothing down my primer, getting my skin nice and prepped. All right, and now I'm gonna apply this 330N medium with peach undertones all over. I'm gonna use my fingers at first and kind of just dot this all over the face. Ooh, that scent is strong. I don't know why they did that. It's a little too strong for a foundation. All right, and then I'm gonna use this Pat McGrath brush to gently stipple that in. Okay, the coverage I will say is really, really, really pretty. Maybe I can use this as my winter shade because right now my body is very, very tan. I don't tan my face, but it still gets sun and it still gets color. But this shade is just way too neutral for me. As you can see here, my neck and chest are like a totally different undertone. But the coverage though is really, really, really light, but so pretty. So pretty. I'm gonna add a little bit more just to see if I can build up the coverage. Kind of like along my jawline where I have a bit more to cover. And I'm gonna stipple it in for a bit of a fuller finish. Very, very smoothing, a very, very pretty finish. So natural, doesn't look like makeup outside of the fact that it's not my shade, but still, it just looks like the skin is very clean. Look at this side of the face, and then look at this side of the face. It looks very much perfected, but not makeup-y. Kind of like that, not gonna lie. All right, I'm gonna apply this foundation to the other side of the face. So this is the side of the face where I'm wearing no primer at all. Let's see how it applies here. Oh man, so effortless. So effortless, but fragrant, very fragrant. Ooh, I'm conflicted. All right, let me go ahead and add some concealer. For concealer, I'm gonna go for, well, I was gonna go for my Tarte Shape Tape in the shade medium, which is what I usually use, but I don't think it's gonna be bright enough for this foundation color. So I guess I'm gonna go for the Teint Idole Ultra Wear in the shade 250, which is like my brightening shade for my winter complexion. So I'm gonna apply just a little bit under the eye. This concealer is one of my favorites for covering up spots, which is why I think they call it the all over concealer, because you can wear it all over. But today I'm gonna use it solely for brightening and maybe just like a couple of spots. I'm gonna grab this Huda Beauty brush, the Face Conceal and Blend brush. I'm gonna quickly brighten under my eyes, lifting the outer corners. Damn, I look dead. I desperately need a bronzer to the rescue. I do have my DANESSA MYRICKS Yummy Skin in the shade 8, which is a little bit too yellow to be a bronzer, but I'm gonna use it anyway, just so I can make myself look and feel a little bit more alive. Maybe this is what this color needed. It just needed a hint of yellow. I feel like in general, Lancome foundations have a lot of cool and neutral undertone shades, but they kind of struggle in the olive and yellow departments. Their foundation formulas are always so great, but the shades, I gotta admit, are a little tricky. I think in 2022, 30 shades in a shade range could possibly not be enough. And I think we really do need to make sure that as beauty content creators, we talk about this more. We need to make sure that we demand, not just for ourselves, but for the consumers, for the viewers who are watching our videos, that we need more shades. We need more shades in every skin tone category and in every undertone, including those hard to formulate olives. Absolutely. We need to get the olives right. I think this is probably a reason why I've been reaching a lot for Dior foundations lately, because their olive shades, those undertones, are just so perfect. They're so spot on. And of course the formula is great too. But you know how it is when you find that right shade, that right undertone, chances are you're gonna work extra hard to make that foundation work for you. Or if it already works for you, you are just not gonna start switching it up. Not to say that this foundation won't have a shade for me, but I'm just speaking in general. I think Lancome is a heritage brand. It's been around for so long. It's the first brand that I remember seeing my mom put on when I was a little girl. It's basically the brand that inspired me to want to do makeup when I was a kid. And so I expect better from them. I expect a lot from them, in fact, just because I love this brand a lot. It has a very meaningful, special place in my heart, you know? So I'm gonna say what's on my mind. And if you guys are thinking it too, I'm gonna speak for us all. So this is what it looks like at this point. Let me actually set everything with powder. For powder, I'm gonna use my one size translucent. This is a powder that I like. I'm gonna set the under eye. I'm gonna set it between my brows, forehead, and then just like lightly dust that everywhere else. I'm gonna use Sigma's Cor-de-Rosa blush, just like a rosy, neutral kind of shade. I'm gonna add that on top to bring it together. And then I'm gonna use a matte bronzer from Sigma. This one is in the shade Dark. I'm gonna add just a little bit of that to the perimeter of my face. I'm using a Morphe M402 brush. I'm gonna sweep that across my jawline. Not bad. I feel like it's finally come together. So now I'm gonna go ahead and look at my skin. Outside of the colors that I'm not yet sure are working, because I definitely have to see myself in natural light just to see if that like yellow undertone shade that I use for a bronzer with the powder bronzer on top are actually working. But outside of the colors, the skin texture looks really, really good. I have to show you a close-up so you could see what I'm talking about. A little bit of breakouts on the forehead, but outside of that, the skin looks really, really radiant. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I am a bit conflicted. On the one hand, I really love the finish of this foundation. On the other hand, I definitely need to get my hands on my correct shade so that I don't have to use so many helpers to make me feel like me. And then going back to the other hand, I really like how natural it looks. Even with all the helpers, it still looks like I'm somehow not wearing a lot of makeup, yet all of my imperfections are smoothed out. My freckles look cute, they're still shining through, and I really feel like it's making my skin look very, very healthy. Not shiny, but just healthy and radiant from the within. And then going back to the other hand, I'm not crazy about the fragrance. I just think it is too strong. I smell it all over. Still, even though I put other products on top, such as powders, I'm truly, truly conflicted. Like, there's things that are very impressive about this foundation, and there are other things that are lacking a bit. So I guess with that, it's time for us to see how it wears, because that will be the ultimate determinant to see whether I actually like or not like this Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow foundation. Let's cue in that good old time warping music for that wear test. We are back in the filming room for the wear test of Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow foundation. This is what it looks like on me after 7 hours of wear. This is the side of the face where I had my primer, aka the DANESSA MYRICKS Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder underneath. I also had it on my forehead. And as you can probably tell, this side of the face looks just a little bit shinier. Just a pinch shinier, specifically in the pore zones, which is where I get very oily at the end of the day. But overall, both sides of the face look really decent. And I think I was actually able to make this wrong shade of the foundation work for me with all the other products that I added on top. I did see myself in natural light and I liked what I saw. I feel like the skin looked very fresh, not too heavy, not too makeup-y, and it still looks pretty fresh, not too makeup-y or cakey at the end of the day. So here are my final thoughts. This definitely is a nice product. I am not gonna take anything away from it. I think it has worn pretty well, although a little bit oily on the forehead and also a little bit texture enhancing. I do have some bumps here, but overall, just like judging my face by not nitpicking, but looking at it as a whole, I think the foundation is pretty nice. However, I do have just a few criticisms. Number one is the scent. This foundation is even too fragrant for me. I'm someone who likes scents, or if they are a nice scent, I like scents. This isn't a nasty scent by any means. Definitely smells good. It smells floral-like, it smells perfumey, but I just think it's a little bit too much for makeup. It's a little bit too much to be wearing on the rest of your face. Granted, the scent does dissipate, but it takes a while for it to go away. I would say at least an hour, if not longer, for the scent to dissipate. So that's kind of like my number one concern with this. Also, I'm not too familiar with this ingredient, ensulazole, which is the sunscreen that offers broad spectrum SPF 27. I'm not too certain about this ingredient. So if you are someone who's a cautious type, please make sure you do your research. Lastly, if I'm really being nitpicky, I think 30 shades of foundation for a brand like Lancome, for a world conglomerate brand like Lancome, is a little under par. I am expecting 40 shades at least at this point from brands like Lancome, like NARS, like Maybelline, like Dior. I am expecting a wider shade range. I'm expecting more undertones. I'm expecting a better olive undertone, more warms, more neutral shades, just more variety when it comes to shades. And I guess I'm saying this because, well, in Lancome's case, I never really had a perfect shade in their Teint Idole regular foundation, and I'm not sure if there is one in this particular foundation, but the fact that they sent me a neutral and a cool was very telling, to me at least. It's telling because it just seems like there's a disconnect between the brand and the people that they work with, and also the people that work for them. It just feels like the personal touch is missing a little bit from Lancome lately. So whoever's responsible for sending shades is probably an agency that doesn't really care much. Sorry to say it that way, but that's just how it makes me feel as someone who's worked with the brand for a very long time. Maybe this doesn't mean much to the consumer, but to someone like myself who likes to look at brands as a whole, it says something, because nowadays we have so many different products to choose from. There are so many amazing products out there that what differentiates one great brand's great product from another great brand's great product is, quite frankly, the people behind the brand. At least it does to me. This little disconnect, this like little blunder, it just rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. And maybe it's been like a couple of other things too, but it just makes me feel like Lancome has kind of lost their personal touch. I have said my piece. I will definitely need to get my hands on a couple more shades, and definitely need to look into a couple of things like the ingredient and also whether I can actually stand the scent. So with that said, you guys, that is my wear test. That is my Teen Truth review for you as always. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stayed until the end for my little rant. But anyways, I am going to zoom on out. I am gonna go have dinner. I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out, and I'm out.